Hey folks, welcome to this weekly update. There's not a lot of Azure news, but what I'm going to cover off is the Azure news that there is. I'm also going to cover off some Jabra news and tell you what I've been up to this week, so stay tuned for this weekly update. Hey everybody, welcome to this weekly update. I am out and about again. For those that are on the video, those that are watching or listening on the audio will be hearing lots of noise. There is someone constructing a fence, unfortunately near me, and there's lots of birds and there's some sheep beside me as well watching on what I'm doing. So hopefully the audio isn't too bad, and for those watching on the video, hopefully you enjoy this visual of Scotland. This is another one of our local hills that you can climb. I have done this one as well. This one's a few hours climb up to the top and a few hours down. It's actually harder coming down because it's quite gravelly and you definitely end up on your bum at a few points along the way, but definitely one that a lot of families do. People run up it, to be honest. There is a running club that run up this hill, and I'm not sure the camera's doing it justice in terms of its height, but it is quite a high one, and I think the record is somewhere around under an hour to run it up and down, so that's quite impressive. I definitely couldn't do that. But yeah, in terms of this week's news, there isn't a lot of Azure news. The one bit of Azure news that I did want to cover is that you can now bring your own encryption keys with to Azure Backup. So a lot of organisations want to manage their encryption keys. They potentially have compliance needs that they need to be able to prove that they are managing the encryption keys and they aren't managed by a third party, aren't managed by Microsoft. Or they're trying to introduce a zero trust type environment and they want to manage their keys. And a lot of Microsoft products, a lot of Azure products are now allowing you to bring your own encryption keys or manage your own encryption keys rather than having Microsoft do that. And Azure Backup's the newest one to release this feature. It's still in public preview, I believe, and it's only available via the Azure portal. There's no support for PowerShell or any kind of third-party integration there. So it's all done through the Azure portal. But what I'll do is I'll post a link below for you to read more information about that and also to sign up for it. Because it's a public preview, you do have to enrol to get that feature for enabling it in your environment. But it is another feature that allows you to manage your own encryption keys for your backups as well. So something exciting there. Now, there hasn't been a lot of news, so what I want to actually cover is some Jabra news. Now, if you've ever been in a meeting with me or you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know I'm a huge Jabra fan. I love the headsets, I love the quality of them, the flexibility, and just the scalability of them as well. A lot of people associate Jabra with office equipment, office headsets and enterprise headsets and things like that. But there's also headsets for sports, there's running ones, there's kind of comfort ones. I've got a couple of good pairs that I love. Had ones for my travelling, for when I was on an airplane and trying to drown out the noise of screaming children on airplanes. And I've got headsets that I love when I'm in meetings as well, for the flexibility and the compatibility with Microsoft Teams as well. This week we saw them announce two new products, slightly different or very different than what they traditionally talk about in terms of headsets. They've actually started to release some video cameras or video conferencing equipment as well. So we have the Jabra Panacast 50 and the Jabra Panacast 20. Now the 50 is a video bar, so it has a big kind of sound bar with 8 microphones and I think 4 speakers. So I think it's got 2 tweeters and 2 woofers, and then there's a video in the video bar as well, and that has a field view of 180 degrees, so it gives you that wide view of the meeting room that this new video bar is in. So again, it'll be great for when we potentially go back into the office. I know some organisations and I know some countries are talking about going back into the offices. I'm not rushing back to the office just yet, but these will be great for making sure that everybody's included, with social distancing probably having to be something in place for quite a while now. Even when we do return to the office, we're going to be spread out in a meeting room. We're not going to be all squished together. So those that are viewing the meeting remotely won't have to worry about where's that voice coming from or where's so-and-so. With this 180 degree field of view, you should in theory get a good view of the meeting room. And that's going to be a good product. Now, I believe that's coming out early summer. The next one that I'm most excited about is the Jabra Panacast 20, and this is a kind of prosumer or consumer product. It's a webcam in all but name. It's something that can sit on top of your monitor. You can screw it to a tripod and have it set up, and it's going to deliver 4K video functionality with the actual device doing a lot of the video processing for you and some artificial intelligence as well, making sure that it focuses on you and kind of zooms on you and just does all the things around the, you know, if you have bad lighting, trying to make the picture as best as it can be for those trying to view you remotely. So this is quite an exciting one, I think. I think it's an excellent product, and it certainly has capabilities, especially when you look at the price point. I think it's going to be coming in around £230 UK, which is a lot of money for a webcam, but it's also not a lot of money when you look at what other people are spending on video equipment. I know colleagues and peers have spent thousands on a webcam. They've got like a DSLR or a vlogging camera, one of the Sony ones. They've put that there, which is about $600 or $800. They've then got a tripod for it. They've then got a battery that is a power source that is constantly powering that camera on. They've then had to buy a HDMI capture lead to plug into their laptop, and then, you know, that's probably about £1,000 to get a good quality camera, and even then it's not compatible with Teams. It's not, you know, certified for that device. They've had some issues where Teams, you know, didn't work with it. Some devices, other things don't work with it. I think OBS does not support DSLR input. So this is actually a really exciting product from Jabra. I think the Jabra Panacast 20 is definitely something I'm looking to have a go at and see if I can improve my video quality without spending thousands of pounds, and having something that is also Team certified, so that when I'm in a meeting it is working and it is certified to work with the Teams device. So definitely exciting news on that front. So yeah, we'll see what that happens. I think the Jabra Panacast 20 is coming out in August later this year. So again, hopefully we'll get to try that out and see what it can be capable of. For me this week, I have been diving still into presentation mode. I think I talked about this last week, and I think I talked about the last 2 weeks. I have a ton of presentations coming up that I need to record, I need to get done. I've also got a few coming up that I'm be doing live, and I have to build some demos. I want to refresh all of my demos. Things just look a bit old. The portal has absolutely changed, the functionality's changed, and I want to tell a different story with some of the demos. So there's a lot of demo refreshing on the go at the moment. So it is actually leading to a lot of content for me. I've been playing with Azure Arc for SQL servers. I've been playing with Azure Data Share. What else have I been playing with? A ton of things, really, to be honest, and it's all leading to various different bits of content. It's all leading to things like I hit an error when I was trying to install the Azure Arc installation on my demo server. It was a PowerShell issue, it wasn't an Azure Arc issue, or potentially it was a Windows Server issue. Anyway, I've wrote a blog about that for next week. So yeah, there's lots of little bits of content that are being created for this other big bit of content. So I'm creating demos and presentations for this conference that I'm speaking at, which is leading to tiny bits of content that I can release either as a few minutes of video or as blog posts and just share that. And again, more for the community, but also for me as well, so that if I hit these issues again when I'm doing things or trying to recreate these demos again, I've got a backlog of knowledge and I don't have to remember everything, and it's all stored on my blog. I'm loving doing this. I'm so glad I actually spent the time revamping my blog, doing something different, doing something new with it, and put it on the Ghost platform a few weeks ago, because it really has encouraged me to actually, you know, blog again, and it's much easier. It's a much easier interface than what I had before, so really glad that I've done that. So one of the other things you might have noticed if you follow me on lots of social media is I've not been as active on social media as I have been before. I don't tweet as much, I don't Instagram as much, I don't talk to as many people on Twitter and stuff like that. I don't really interact in LinkedIn. Yes, I do share my blog posts, I do share my videos on these platforms to try and amplify my content and get new audiences, but I've stepped away a bit from social media. I was getting into a negative rhythm with it. It was becoming a bit obsessive. I was constantly checking it. I wasn't watching what I was doing. You know, if I was watching the TV, I wasn't concentrating on that because I was so engrossed in the social media. I wasn't really in the moment when I was spending time with friends, if the notifications were going off, although I haven't had social media notifications on my phone since 2019, and I am definitely not turning them back on, but I've just stepped away from it. I found it quite negative. I've found some of the news stories that are happening around the world quite distressing and causing me a bit of anxiety, and yeah, the negative element on social media hasn't been great either. A few people have said, you know, when I posted blogs, that they didn't think it was a valuable blog because I didn't include their favourite bit of free software, or I didn't mention it, or I didn't extol the virtues of that and argue its case versus what I'd actually done, or people had just been nasty about things I've posted. And yes, I love that block button, I love that unfollow, I love that mute button that you get on social media, but it's not nice. I don't like seeing people being nasty to me for the sake of it, or having an opinion and trying to prove that they're right and I'm wrong. So I've just stepped away from it a little bit. I've less been interactive with it and tried to focus on things that I do enjoy, which is building demos, trying technical things, being a technical person. I am a technical IT person. I am not an influencer. I'm not a social media influencer. I'm not going down that route. I don't want to be someone like that. I don't want to be someone who has 30,000 followers and has to maintain a certain personality, a persona on Instagram or Twitter. I don't want to have multiple Instagram accounts for, you know, my personal one, my professional one, my cat, my dog, my car, my child. I don't want any of that. I don't want to get sucked into any of that, and I'm trying to step away from it and get into a healthier place. Do the things that I enjoy, focus on things like my gardening, my reading, my family, my friends, and yeah, enjoying the gorgeous part of the country or the world that I live in. Scotland is amazing, and I'm loving the nice weather that we've got, and I'm focusing on that, although today is really cold and I have got my hat on and I wish I had gloves on. But I'm trying to focus on that. I'm trying to focus on the things that are good, the things that are sustainable and aren't negative and aren't draining. So yeah, that's me. I hope you've enjoyed this weekly update. It's been a bit of a ramble, but hopefully you've enjoyed the views if you're watching on the video. I am not going to climb this hill. I am going to go home and get a coffee and enjoy myself and do some work. But thank you everybody for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. For those watching on the video, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do think about subscribing and hitting that like button. I release a video every Wednesday and every Friday, and if you're listening in on the podcast, thank you so much for tuning in, and please do subscribe via the various platforms that I have there as well, and you'll get news updates from me every Friday and occasionally other times as well. So I love you all, and I'll hopefully catch you in my next weekly update.